Welcome to Land Academy. I'm Jack Butala.
I'm Jill DeWitt.
We show you how to buy real estate for half of what it's worth.
And sell it on the internet really fast.
We are Jack and Jill,
and this is the Jack and Jill Show too.
With over 15,000 completed transactions, we're the experts at acquiring property.
Of all kinds, not just land.
For half price and flipping them for way more.
All right, let's get this show started.
Jack Butala with Jill DeWitt.
Happy Friday.
Welcome to our show today. In this episode, Jill and I talk about 2 imperative land acquisition tools, things you can't live without. Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landacademy.com online community. It's free.
Okay. Marcus asked, I'm considering buying my first property with back taxes / a tax lien. The tax lien is for $1,000. How does this typically work? Do I buy it and pay the taxes off and then sell it? I'm remembering some people in this group saying that you can sell it, without paying that off. Is that right?
Oh, that's true.
Right.
So with tax liens, it's slightly more complicated. So there's a couple things that can happen. If you're looking at a property, it's got back taxes associated with it. It's either got, a couple years worth, and then you just go in and pay it, and it's over, if you want to. If it's pretty far back and it's a tax lien state, it's got a lien associated with it. So there's going to be somebody, you're going to have to pay a little bit more. That's the only difference. You still write a check, and it still goes to the same department usually, but it's going to be for just slightly more.
Because somebody bought the tax lien on the property is what you're talking about.
Yeah, and that's way beyond the scope of this whole thing, but that's all it is. Don't be afraid. It still goes away when you write the check.
Now, this is I want to make a point that it doesn't mean that every time you buy a property and there are some taxes still due on it, that this is the situation, because it's a little bit different. Just a property that's 3 years behind on their taxes may not be in a lien situation, and it may not have been sold to somebody else.
That's right.
Bought the lien and all that good stuff. It's just like, hey, it's overdue for 3 years.
Yep.
Someone needs to catch us up at some point. And then, in that situation, you don't have to do it at that time. You can sell it with that. You always want to disclose it and let the next person know. Yeah,
that's the last part of the question.
What's coming along. And, you don't have to do it. And just let the next person know.
The tax lien, that starts the clock pretty severely ticking. So there's a small chance, I want you to be real careful here, Marcus, that the week or so that it takes to you from the time that you decide to buy this property to actually get it recorded in your name, depending on how you do it, there's a chance that actually could be the week where it's over, where the property gets lost and you could lose the money. So what you want to do is really call either the treasurer or the recorder, whoever's managing the tax liens for that county, and have a real candid conversation. I'm buying this property. I'm doing it this week. As soon as it's in my name, I'm planning to write a check to write the tax lien off. Does that work within the time frame of this, or are you guys actually having a lien sale right now, and where it's going to actually, I could lose the property, lose all the money? That's the chances of that happening are so slim, it's still worth a call.
Right.
Must be a good deal. $1,000 of back taxes.
Mm-hmm. It's good. Love it.
If you have a question or you want to be on the show, reach out to either one of us on landacademy.com. Today's show, this is the meat of the show. Today's topic, is 2 imperative land acquisition tools. Jill and I wrote this title, and I intentionally did not tell her what I think the 2 tools are. And she did not tell me what hers are. So I can't wait. You go first.
I thought kind of big picture. I took this as I'm working on acquisitions. What are 2 things I cannot live without? And I'm new to this. Number 1.
Or not.
Or not. Either way. Well, see, I already think there's one we're going to have the same and one we're going to have different, I think. So the 2 things I couldn't live without as I'm doing this business is knowing what I'm doing. So I look at education as a tool, and I look at data as a tool. And here's why. What things to me that are no big deal that I can work out are money, my website, my LLC, my office, my bank setup, my staff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, these are
the things that people get hung up on, though.
I know you're right.
And those are things are not a big deal. And even selling and all that good stuff. I don't have to think about any of that. But just the acquisition, data, and knowledge. What are your 2?
Data and a bulk mail printer.
I thought that's what you're going to say.
Data, and so here, I'll give you a great example. So Jill and I, obviously, professionally know and personally know a lot of people in the real estate business, and a lot of extremely successful house flippers, house builders, house developers. None of them, I cannot name one, not one person who we know outside of the Land Academy group that understands that data is how you make a decision. They all have established whatever transaction deal flow that they need to buy and sell real estate, all types. They've all established it, and it all works. But they could be doing it so much better, so much cheaper and faster and easier. They're not interested.
Exactly.
So data is imperative for not just land acquisitions, but any type of real estate acquisition. And you got to go about it that way. It's hard to do because people that flip houses, maybe they're good contractors. Mm-hmm. They get a handful of brokers, feed them deals, and they pay top dollar.
I think they're used to getting up every morning and surfing the MLS and see what got posted the night before, and they think they're going to grab it.
Yeah.
Right, and they're putting all their feelers out there and signs on the corner.
Silliest thing ever.
And they're driving around.
Yeah.
And I think it's just out of habit that they think that's how it's supposed to go.
Jill and I, in a couple cases, have converted. We just feed them the deals that they want.
Converted them.
We converted them.
Like it's a religion.
And in both cases, I'm like, why don't you guys just get some data and go do this? What? What do you mean get data?
Join church.
Join
the data church. It's easier.
Data church. Oh my God. I'm writing that down.
I'm serious.
That's a show right there.
I converted them. Here, drink this. People do say that all the time. I'm about to drink the land Kool-Aid. I'm like, it's good.
Man.
No, it's not like
That's hilarious.
It's just for you and I. It's just get out of 1980.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not 1985.
So that's tool number one is data and learn how to use it. Jill's education piece is correct. You can get good data and use it all wrong. It's not likely if you're working with us, but anyway. Data and then bulk mail printing, getting the correct. You can have the best data on the planet. If you're not if you're licking a stamp with the best data on the planet, it's just a mess. It's going to be a mess. You're not going to get the results that you want.
Yeah, having that professional printer like you talk about, Jack, and the way that they know how to scrub the addresses and word it right and make sure it gets to that you want. Because if the offers are getting handwritten and they're not getting to the right owner, that's not the right way to do it, too.
Every minute that you spend with a non-professional bulk mail printer or licking a stamp and buying envelopes, every single minute you spend could be spent talking to owners. There's a million different things. You could learn how to scrub data better. Right. There's a lot of different ways and better ways to spend your time.
Have your website like just rocking where everybody can just check out easily. Yeah. Have your postings all over the planet. Really,
right? Your
system set up for that.
The whole point to do all of this stuff is to make it easier. To make it to free time up, to not do silly stuff and do the stuff that matters, which is talking to buyers and sellers and just being a deal maker.
Mm-hmm. One thing to think about too is you don't have to be at the, top level. That's one thing about you and I, Jack, is that who we work with is not all professionals. We work with plenty of people who this is new to them, mom and pop kind of scenarios who are successful because we're helping them come in the side door and have access to all of our stuff. You get, all the professional everything. That's what you want. You want to be using all the right tools. You don't have to graduate to get to do that.
Right. Well, so let's take a look at one of these two people that we regularly sell houses to that refuse to be converted, as Jill puts it. And let's look at the anatomy of one deal and how much money they save or waste or what. So let's say this guy peruses the MLS and he buys a property for $120,000, a house, and he puts $80,000 in, and so now he's $200,000 into this thing. And his target price is, sale price is $250,000, and he does a deal. Let's forget about real estate fees and all kinds of other stuff, and he makes $50,000, right? Purchases for $120,000, spends $80,000 cleaning it up. He's in for $200,000, sells it for $250,000. What if he sent his own mail out and purchased that same asset that he bought for $120,000 in the MLS for $80,000?
Right.
That's $40,000, and then to do the exact same thing, the same numbers. Mm-hmm. That's $40,000 more. Instead of making $50,000, he's going to make $90,000 for doing the exact same thing.
Exactly.
And to buy the asset himself, maybe takes to send mail out, and once you know what you're doing, I don't know, a couple hours on Sunday.
Right.
So, and if you do 10 deals like that, 10 deals a year. These guys do way more than that. If they do 10 deals like that, that's $500,000 more that they made for spending a couple hours on Sunday.
Well, you know what else, too? One good quality mailer. He's probably got one deal he's doing right now and 3 more lined up to go right after it. So he's now got 6 months of work ready to go off one mailer if he wants.
That's it. So it's just so compelling and overwhelming, the argument, to have these 2 tools are imperative.
Right.
I mean, congratulations, you're great at flipping houses. There's a lot of people out there that are. Why not just, instead of getting a new cabinet guy, maybe get a new data guy.
Yeah, and instead of squeezing that guy for an extra $1,000, buy the asset a little bit better and easier.
Or maybe you spend the money on putting better finishes in that turn out a better purchase price.
There you
go.
go.
On and on. I mean, it's
That's
just
a good point.
They're so compelling.
Don't squeeze your contractor. Give your contractor more money because you can afford to make it even better. I like that too.
Right.
Yeah. Throw in, whatever. I love it. Spend the money on staging it now. You can afford to do that. Whatever.
We have members who, one member specifically, who that's what she does. She becomes a subcontractor for home flippers and feeds them deals and gets paid right out of escrow. She never puts $1 in. So, and Jill and I did some version of that too. We have a program coming out like that next year in 2017, but it just, it's so hard to say the same story and say it differently and use different examples and still have everybody say, what are you talking about, man?
Yes, I know. We're 2 people at a time trying to change the way the universe sees deals.
I thought you were going to say the 2 imperative land acquisition tools are Jack and Jill.
Oh.
That's what I honestly thought you were going to say.
Oh, why didn't I think of that?
Because it's stupid.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
That's why you didn't think of it.
Oh, and there's our blog. The 2 imperative land acquisition tools. Hint, they're not Jack and Jill.
I should have titled it that way. That should have been the title of the show.
That's awesome. Well, it's so good. That's fantastic.
So, I mean, seriously.
I sure just got to write that down.
On the education piece of this, some people hear the word education and they're like, oh, I stopped doing that in 12th grade. Or in some cases, 10th grade. But, so if that's the case and you're actually really good at real estate investing and flipping, but you're not using data and mail, hire somebody like us. Sub it out.
Right.
You don't have to learn.
No.
It's not hard. Actually, reach out to us. We'll we have members all over the country. We'll find one of our existing members and hook you guys up.
Exactly. It's not crazy.
Join us in another episode where the Jack and Jill,
your 2 favorite acquisition tools.
2 tools. I totally just called you a tool.
I know, I just hit the microphone with my hat. I'm like slapping so hard. I'm just hitting my equipment all over the room here. It's great. 2
Where
tools.
we discuss how to use information, that's me.
And inspiration, that's me, to keep everything on track.
To get all the tools in the toolbox that you want.
Yeah. We use them every day to buy property for half of what it's worth and sell it immediately.
You are not alone in your toolness. What the heck, man?
Oh my gosh. Hey,
up.
thank you for not bringing up Tim the Toolman Taylor. You didn't bring up
know.
any tool time stuff. I was waiting for that.
Oh my gosh. No one, everybody's who's
Over
not
that.
80. Yeah.
Thank you. I love it. That was good. Good show. Good Friday.
Yeah.
I think that's good information.
Information and inspiration to buy undervalued property.
We are Jack and Jill, and this was the
Cash Flow from Land Show. We are the experts at acquiring property
of all kinds, not just land,
for half price just so we can flip it for way more.
and really fast. Thanks for listening. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.